this edition promises to be very engaging and interactive. This morning, my friend and sister Abiba Oyeye set the ball rolling by interviewing the lead person of Alarodaro Inauguration Committee, the person of Mrs. Ifweko Alufoha. She gave an overview of what the citizens should expect regarding the Alarodaro inauguration. And the citizens are upbeat. The people are happy that they've eventually elected their own governor, their own person, a governor that they can own, a state that they can now lay claim to, that this state now belongs to us, this government now belongs to us. So, and we want to continue to set that pace. And that is why we have decided this evening to make it a bit youth-friendly, because you would agree with me that the governor loves the youth. He cares for them. He has lots of them in his government, and they in turn participated in returning that gesture by ensuring that they mobilized support for him, campaigned for him, and voted for him. So this evening, I'm joined by my friend and brother, Mr. Mr Ogbewi, who is the president of Concerned Citizens of Edo State. He's also a veteran entertainer in Edo State. Mr. Ogbewi, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fee, and it's nice for you to have me here today.
Thank you very much. Concerned Citizens of Edo State. Yeah. What is it all about? Can you give an overview, give us an idea of what Concerned Citizens of Edo State is all about? What do you do basically? Okay,
well, as the name actually implies, it's about the citizens of the state. And what the organization was meant for is to kind of pass information from the government to the people and from the people to the government, serving also as an organization that checks and balances the system, so to speak. So as an overview, I think that will be enough for now.
Okay, you check. How do you check and balance the government? What are your procedures to check and balance the government?
That's very easy.
You liaise with him from time to time, the government?
We hear from the government. We see what the government is doing, what the government is doing that is palatable to the people. And maybe the people are not aware of it, we let the people know. And where we see what the people need, that the government might have not been taking a serious notice of, just due to oversight or something, we also let the government know. Okay. So we try to create a balance between the people and the government.
Okay. Yes. Some of the things that you saw, that you liked in this government, are they the things that prompted Concerned Citizens to support the re-election of Governor Basaki?
Yes, of course. If this government was not properly poised, there wouldn't have been any way that we would have come together to say, let's hear from a government that is not, that does not listen to people. We cannot say we want to speak to a government, you were not listening to us, or talk to them, you were not listening to us, or just like that. That's how it goes. So the government that we met, or that came to be, the Obaseki government, gave us a leeway into the development of this organization, in the sense that when we saw that it was a government that we could work with, yes, we started to work with them.
And you still want to continue this partnership? Because, the governor is a youth-friendly governor.
Yes.
And you have supported him. You also want to continue to show him the way, to ensure that he is on track and he is not derailing from the set goal.
Yes.
And that is why you are here today, because to set agenda, particularly in the area of youth, to set agenda for the government. What would be your agenda for the government as we are counting down to the inauguration on the 12th of this week? What would be your agenda for the government? What are you expecting from the government? What do you think he should begin to do in the second tenure that he didn't do in the first tenure?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. When you say what we want the government to start doing that we didn't do before, I think we really cannot find something that we're not trying to do at all.
Good.
We would only say what they
want them
doing
to do more.
That they have not done enough.
Okay.
And want them to do more about. Because
Fantastic.
if you check all the different sectors of our economic life, our social life, this government had a way of touching at least each of these areas, or maybe not to the extent that we would have wanted it to be.
Okay.
So for this next 4 years, one would want to see more of that reason why we called him we can see governor. We want to see more miracles, more, more roads done overnight, more hospitals built, more facilities, more sport complexes, more entertainment avenues for the young and the restive. When a person is young, there's too much energy.
Okay.
So more avenues to expend such energy so that we do not take to other things.
I agree with you. Okay, fine. You are an entertainer.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you want to see in the coming administration of Obaseki as regards entertainment?
Yeah.
What would you want to see? What are the infrastructure that you want him to put in place? Do you want more collaboration between the government and the entertainers? What do you want to see? Give us an overview, because the government is listening.
Yes.
And the handlers are all listening.
Yeah.
So what do you want the government to begin to do as regards entertainment?
Sometime last year, we had a summit with the government where some people were brought in from Lagos, Abuja, and all other places. And we had a discussion where the government projected a park, something like a park, an industrial kind of park for entertainers.
Okay.
Like a venue where entertainers could
Like
meet,
entertainment park.
entertainment park, So that was discussed, and anyway, other things happened, and that's not been actualized. So in this, for entertainment,
So in this new
yes,
administration,
for entertainment in this new
we
administration,
want to see that vision.
we want to see that vision materialize. I want to see other areas, like for example, this cultural center. We want to see
Your
more
Bakenzwa Cultural Center.
Bakenzwa Cultural Center.
You
Thank
want it to be put more to good use.
more to good use for the youth to be
Engaged.
engaged profitably, so to speak.
Okay, in what way would you suggest that the Bakenzwa Cultural Center be put more to good use?
Okay, for example, there are very many youths around here in this state who would want to play musical equipments. And there are many other youths who are willing to teach these musical equipments. So if, for example, in some of the halls there, government just plays some musical equipments there and has these ones that can teach, to bring in the ones, allow the ones that wants to learn to come in. You see, there's already an interaction.
And there's an engagement.
There's an
as well.
engagement going on there. And as a matter of fact, it's also a way of generating revenue and all that stuff, because these people get together, you think of a show to hold, they hold a show. It's something that's nice. That's one of them. Then we'll need the government to be more, to pay more attention to the indigenous musicians. When I mean indigenous musicians, I'm not just
The
saying
local musicians.
I'm not just saying
musicians residing in the
residing
States.
here. Yes, when we say local musicians, there's always usually a problem. They'll be saying these people that sing Benin music or sing that.
No, when you say local, it means it's
We stay
localized.
here, we
Yes,
localize
localized.
ones. So we can do lots of things that goes abroad and in other places, other clients
other
can do.
states.
So if the government decides to support us in any way that when we sit down and
So
we
you
talk
want
about
more support,
more support
in terms
from
of
the
local
government
content.
so that local content can grow.
Okay.
And once local content grows, more youths will find it as an avenue of escape,
They will find the music industry more attractive.
more attractive to get into, and that will be, I think, that will bring a whole lot of ease to the government of the state.
Okay. I want to ask you now a more personal question.
Okay.
What would you do on your own as concerned citizens of Edo State to collaborate with the governor? What ideas would you bring? Because now when you bring a government to power, you also help the government to succeed.
Yeah.
Now you have discussed what you want the government to do. What would you also contribute?
Yeah.
Because you have contributed on bringing him to power, what would you now also contribute to make him succeed?
Very well.
Because concerned citizen is a
yes,
good.
of course. There's nothing we would not do to help to support this government to succeed. What I mean by that is that whatever the government decides to do, whatever way the government decides to take this matter, we will be there to support him. If he decides to continue with that park, in whatever way that he needs our support, we can garner it for him and support him in any way. If he's going to work on the Bakenzwa Cultural Center, we will go with him and we'll show him some things that we have seen in other areas
In other words, you have a plan already.
Yes, we have plans
that you can show to the government on how you can transform the Oba Cultural Center
to a modern facility of entertainment, to an entertainment hub for youth in Edo State.
Or entertainment village.
Yes. So we have all those. Time will not permit us to start telling you how many conga drums we want to buy in there, or how many guitars, or how many teachers we already have. We will also support.
Okay, you want that place to... Okay, are you looking for an extension? Are you looking for a new entertainment village, or you want that place to be maximized first?
That place can be a starting point, can be maximized, and when it becomes too small for us, then we'll now start saying, I remember what you told us about the entertainment park and all that. Then there are lots of things that we are not looking at right now in entertainment. Entertainment is not just about singing, it's not about acting, it's not about, everything is there, everything is inside entertainment. Like in those days, I remember on one television show, somebody would say, there's no business like show business. No, show business is entertainment. There's a whole lot of money to be made there. Employment,
show business. When you say show business, yes. What do you mean? Tell the people, show business.
Show business. Show plus business is equal to show business. So to be more concise about it, it's simply, show business is simply the sales of talents of individuals. That is what it is, show business. So I have a talent, I come to showcase, I'm acting, I'm singing, I'm a comedian, I'm doing whatever. I come to showcase, and somebody pays me for it. Somebody pays me for the show I come to, I present, and that is, I'm in show business, but this is just talking about show business in the most basic form of it, and talking about it from my own perspective.
So you want to see more of that?
The government can go into it and make money from it too. Yes. If the government decides to finance this very sector.
From the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Tourism.
Culture and Tourism. These things are, and I also think that there's something already going on now, which will blossom in these next 4 years. Because of those other meetings that we had in the past years.
You're optimistic?
Very, very optimistic. I trust this government.
Okay. Thank you very much. And we are still talking with Mr. Mr Ogbewi, who is the president of Concerned Citizens of Edo State, also is a veteran entertainer. We'll be going on a short break, and when we return, we'll be asking him more questions on the agenda setting for the government.
The ancient city is calling. Oh, arise, sons and daughters of the land. The king of the city is marching. Stand up. The founding fathers of labor, and our time to serve is now. The
Yes, we're ready. Good evening and welcome back to the evening edition of Allowed Out 2020 Live Studio. We are still having a very engaging and interactive session with Mr. Ogbewi, who is the president of Concerned Citizens of Edo State. Also is a veteran entertainer in Edo State. He has told us what Concerned Citizen is all about, their determination and their responsibility in society to ensure that they put government under check and balance and provide leadership for the youth. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let us continue our conversation.
Yeah.
It has been friendly so far, and people are enjoying it.
Okay.
I want to ask you, specifically, you mentioned the fact that there are different layers of entertainment. There is movie, there is comedy, there is music, there is art, and you just started touching on the showbiz aspect. Let's talk about the movie. What do you expect to see going forward in this new administration? Because it's a new dawn for Edo people. This is Edo people's government. It is no longer government for the few. It is now government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So as entertainers, as youths who are into entertainment, what do you expect in this coming administration regarding the movie industry?
Thank you very much. See, the movie industry is a very, very large industry that I think to the most has been undertapped in Edo State. You know, I would like to say that in this wise, we should not focus on only what we want the government to do about the movie industry, but we should focus on, we should talk about those who are actually in the movie industry.
Doing something already.
Already in the movie industry.
Okay.
You know, we have lots of big names who are from Edo, doing something outside Edo, and we have lots of big names in Edo doing things inside Edo. I think that what the movie industry needs is a collaboration of these people. When they have this
between those outside and those
inside
within.
here, yes. And when they have this, when they have come to a compromise of any sort, they cannot call the government in. What they need is sponsorship of that industry, of that very particular area of entertainment. For example, you see a movie.
The government can also play a role to help them attract sponsors.
Yes, if the government is, if they are able to.
But what you're saying, they must position themselves for that.
They must position themselves for that. If they are not well positioned, the government will not be willing to spend the kind of money that is expected to be spent in entertainment. If the government does not know what's going on with them. For example, I was going to say something.
Yeah.
You find out in Benin here, they use some cameras and they say big camera, big camera, big camera. I told someone one day about a red camera. And he said red. I said yes, it's in the entertainment industry here, that's in the movie industry here. And when you Google the price, it was like We will never buy this type. Let us manage the one we have. But your people you are competing with, your competitors are already using cameras that are bigger than those ones. Individuals can hardly buy those kinds of things. Corporate bodies and the government can actually do those things. So what I'm trying to say is, when the people in the movie sector of entertainment industry become,
they need to come together.
Once they can achieve that togetherness and draw up a plan for government, then the government will know exactly how to finance. Because it will not suffice for the government to give somebody $10,000 to buy a camera, and the person turns the camera to his own stuff. But if there was an organization, the government could say, okay, we give you these stuffs and you pay us back as soon as you start to sell your films. We give you all the support you need. We give you the trolleys and the dollies. We give you cranes. We give you
soft loan or
soft loans and grants, anything like that. And when you finish, your movie starts to hit the stands and starts to sell, we take XYZ amount from the money and to recoup back.
Okay.
Remember, it's not going to be one movie alone. So what I'm trying to say is, let those in the entertainment, that's in the movie industry, come together. We are all part of it. If I, as a musician, can stand in front of the camera and dance to a song, I'm already acting a movie.
True.
There's people out there who write scripts. They're in the movie industry. They're script writers. They're story writers, cinematographers, the actors themselves. You see, it's a whole lot. The engineers who use the cranes.
So there'll be a ripple effect.
Yes, serious one.
Domino effect that covers everybody.
My brother, this city is already even ripe for a film village, a movie village. So I just see that what's happening here is some veterans.
And this is the home of culture and tourism.
So
we have stories.
Yeah, stories, a whole lot of stories to tell.
And we are not telling our stories yet.
At all. And to be frank with you, you see, there is nothing like animation studios here.
Edo State is also ripe for an animation
They
studio.
are ripe for that. And with the government like this, I don't think there's a better time for those in this very field to wake up. So because many times we like to blame the government. Sometimes if you don't bring some things to the government's notice, there's nothing the government can do. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So that's where I stand on this matter.
So your own position is that the entertainers must collaborate.
Yes.
They must come up with a vision and meet with the government and say, this is our vision.
This is what we need to
and
do.
the government buys into the vision.
Thank you.
Then there's a takeoff.
There's a takeoff and a boom. Because I believe in the entertainers in Edo State. I strongly believe
that they can compete.
They can compete.
Globally.
We are the writers of that. The new people are the writers of IMU, Pot of Life.
Yes.
That's a great story. And other great stories like that. Of course, we have folklores that can mean to animations that the whole world will buy right now.
Absolutely.
So,
and those,
we are good for that.
that area is just lying dormant.
Like, so dormant.
Untapped.
The stories are not even well told so far.
So we need to start from telling them rightly.
Rightly. Tell the stories
before
rightly.
putting them into a motion picture.
Script them accurately. And then, everything goes with the support of the government anyway when the time comes.
Fantastic.
Because I know they will support. I know the government, this government will support.
When they see a blueprint.
When they see a blueprint
that
and
can
they see
work.
that it's going somewhere, don't support. That's my view.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you very much.
In the wake of the NSAS protest, there's youth restiveness everywhere.
Yeah.
The youth are waking up. They are demanding for what rightfully belongs to them. They are demanding for end to police brutality.
Yes.
They are demanding for all kinds of bad governance. What would be your advice in setting agenda now for the government? What would be your advice for them in taking advantage of the energy, the strength in the youth? What are the areas you want the government to look into that hitherto they have not looked into?
Like when you first asked this question, I told you, I said, scarcely any area that the government has totally failed to look into that I can find now to tell you. The only thing is that they might not have done as much as they should have done or as we would expect them to have done. Excuse me. Talking about the youth restiveness and their right for the sex, I so agree. It has become an eye-opener to where all the governments in Nigeria, all the state governments in Nigeria, and in fact the federal government in Nigeria, that we have lots of youth, which means lots of energy that can be injected into the system for a proper upliftment of our society. What has been happening before now has been a neglect of that youth sector to a very large extent. But if you come to our state, This is where the whole matter becomes different. If you come to our state, you will see that the government has tried in very many ways to engage the youth. In very many areas, with different kinds of programs that the government have been organizing. So, but now, coming to your question properly, you said, what should the government do now, moving on now?
Yeah.
What should the government do to make sure that those things happen? First and foremost, I'll say something. Once the system is right, then the system is right. If you say you are a government that believes in fair play, in the rule of law, then let the rule of law prevail. I've never seen this government using the law enforcement agencies to oppress people. If I had seen, I would have screamed. I would have talked about it a long time ago. I have not seen the government. In fact, you can see the governor's convoy.
So what you're saying is that we need to have our own security. We need to have our own police.
That is not just my point. Of course, we need that. But the point I'm driving at is this. This government has so far shown responsibility in terms of liaising and working with the armed forces, that's with the police security agencies. They have never used them. I've never seen them using them against the youth. So if the youth, they're saying stop SARS, it's because of a lag in the system. There was a problem in the system and they wanted that to be fixed.
Yeah.
In Edo State, what the government should do moving forward is very simple. When the youth is employed, gainfully employed, doing something for himself, gainfully employed doesn't only mean for a youth where you get money from. If you are in sports and you are able to get your kids to train, you will discover that 50% of the youths that are being that are restive today, that are doing
taking up the streets.
They'll be taking up the street once. Sports alone, entertainment can take the other 50. Then when they come out to cry for what they want, it suffices for the government to promptly address that particular issue that they come out to agitate for. For example, end SARS. Why would anybody come out to say end SARS if SARS were living according to the laws that formed them? If they were not infringing on our the youth's fundamental human rights, the youth will not come out to say end SARS.
Absolutely.
So if the government's way forward is continue to, as you have been doing, that's why I have to say that, as you have been doing, continue to work with the security agencies to make them understand more and more that they are supposed to work for the citizens, not against them. If you can continue to foster that arrangement while keeping the youths gainfully employed, there will be nothing like this in the nearest future. Other states might be crying and people will say in Edo State, nothing like that, they happen. No. So I think the way forward for the government is to actually create more avenues to take the streets off, one. Then number two, liaise more with these security agencies to see that they live according to the precepts of the law that form them.
Okay, thank you. What would be your advice to the federal government? Because the SARS is a federal police.
Okay.
It's a special anti-robbery squad that has now been disbanded. Going forward, what would be your advice to the police? Because we are youth. You cannot hold somebody irresponsible because of his look or her look.
Exactly.
You cannot hold another person, you cannot criminalize a particular person because of the phone the person is carrying.
In his hand.
So what would be your advice to the new SWAT? From SARS now to SWAT. So
in the first place,
what would be your advice?
In the first place, I would like to say that I do not see the reason why there was so much speed in turning SARS to SWAT. I asked a friend of mine a question, that is seriously speaking, I asked him a question, I said, come, what is the fundamental duty of the police?
To maintain law order.
It's not to maintain law and order and to protect life and properties.
Yes.
So if that is the case, why are you now telling me that there's one particular part of police that must be set up if you have to fight criminality? I don't understand that. Well, they understand more because I like to say they are in the matter, so they know what's going on. We are outside it, but we are wanting to know now. So advising the federal government in the way to go forward, allow the states, support them to have their own state police. For me personally, although there are very many
support of restructuring.
Yes, serious support of restructuring, because that will make my youth, my brothers and my sisters. It will make everybody more comfortable if Nigeria can become one. Because to be frank and sincere with you, these things that are happening here that you see Lagos, Abuja, in fact Abuja, little, Lagos, you see Lagos, Edo, Rivers State, you see all these states that are clamoring and saying NSAS, NSAS, NSAS. The SARS of operatives, are they disturbing the youth in the north like that? This is a question we have to be straight with you. We are discussing now like friends, you know, we're just talking candidly. Do they disturb the youth in the north like that? They don't. Maybe you don't know, I'm just saying now, but I know you know, or I guess you know. They don't do that. So why is it here? But because they know the values there, and the thing that we, or over here, we don't know our values. So what I'm trying to say is very simple. Let the state policing idea.
You are advocating for state police.
So we know who is doing this.
Yes.
So we know exactly the people that are responsible for that kind of behavior. You cannot take my younger brother because he's driving my car, or he's driving a friend's car, and he has a phone in his hand, or my laptop in his hand, or he's wearing bling. My younger brother wants to be fine, and next thing I'm hearing that is at his police station because you caught him with a phone. So you are now saying that we cannot even have friends abroad? If I have a name now, Macaulay, whatever.
So yours now is not just to come up with SWAT, but to reform it completely. And then advising the federal government to accede to the demands of the people who want state police.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have been talking to Mr. Aghedo Ogbewi, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome back to the evening edition of Halaudao 2020 Live Studio. We are still having a very friendly chat with our brother, Mr. Aghedo Ogbewi. Mr. Aghedo Ogbewi, thank you very much for staying with us.
Thank you very much.
Talking about the youth, and entertainment. That is your feed. You know, there's this combination of youth, social media, and entertainment. Tripartite combination. In your advice, how do you think the youth can take full advantage of the social media to help boost their entertainment?
Okay. You see, when we talk about this tripartite relationship that you just mentioned now, the youth, entertainment, and social media, there's actually no disconnection between this. Entertainment is actually carried out mostly by the youths, and social media is the avenue through which we now express ourselves these days. You know, so I think the first thing that has to be done is creating a palatable environment for these three to thrive together. And in Edo State, I'm not talking for the government like, hey, government is, I'm saying that in Edo State, some of these things are already being put in place.
Okay.
For example, the power. There's no entertainment, there's nothing you can't go far in entertainment without electricity. Cheap internet access. If these things are not available, there's no way people can grow. Then talk about information technology. You understand that the government is investing so much in that area, teaching youths and grooming them up with that. If these things are put in place, then we've created for ourselves an enabling environment for entertainment to thrive. If you have all the songs in this world and put them all out there on YouTube or anywhere, and you do not have power, there's no way you can follow your songs or push them more and more. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
If you don't know how to put it there, how will you do that? So I think for those three things to work together, there has to be an agreement, a palatable place for the youth to meet with social media and social media.
Okay, is there a role the government can play in helping entertainers to learn it more effectively how to deploy the use of social media?
Yes. You know,
is there a training that needs to be done?
There are serious trainings that can be done. People are trained to become what's it called? Social media canvassers. People are specially trained for that. YouTube, what's it called? Managers. In other climes.
But you know, it's one thing for you to be a very good entertainer. You churn out songs from time to time, but you don't know how to really set them out there. You don't know how to send them out.
Many times the entertainer, the talented person, is handicapped by his talent. He spends so much time playing that song, making it perfect, does not know how to sell it. That's where the government can come in. And the government is not coming in by themselves, it's going to come in by through the people that they have empowered. The people the government have empowered in information technology can start to say, okay, if you have a song, come here, bring it to us, we'll help you push it as far as it can go so that the whole world sees it and let your song thrive for itself. That's, you see?
So there has to be a collaboration.
It's not like deputy governor or the governor himself will just say, yeah, come, let me sign for you. And you start putting, no. They train people who will do all these things. And they are all these people that are training our youths. So once the government can go in there, sponsor these young men, teach them how to do this, create an avenue for the entertainers to develop themselves. You know, a sane environment is what we're talking about. A sane environment is entertainment friendly, and these things will happen naturally.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You know, we are in an Asian city, a city rich in culture, arts, and tourism.
Yes.
And we've not talked about it since. Now, we have the State Museum. How well is it functioning? What other things do you think the governor can do or the government can do to ensure that we showcase our culture, our history more to the people?
Like in every area of our lives, what we do not know, we do not patronize. I can guarantee you that many of the children here in Edo State do not even know that the museum showcases artifacts of our culture. No, because nobody has taken them there. When I was young, my father, that's my parents, at least once in a while took me there. I was opportunity to enter inside it and check it out and see some things that are made me like,
so
wow.
Parents no longer see such things attractive.
It's not attractive to them anymore. The parents don't know about it or they don't talk about it. Their children can never be attracted to it. So I think there's one way.
So what is the way forward?
Yes, there's one way the government can do that is by that's throwing more light in that area. Believe me, if the museum is given a kind of budget that enables it to do 1 or 2, 3 adverts, 1 or 2, 3 adverts in a week,
showcase our art,
showcase our
culture.
People will come in. People would not just come in to say, I want to see that thing that's happening. I don't see that thing that's happening there. And for example, another thing again, the access into the museum is not so easy. The museum should be something it should be a place where somebody who is walking can walk into.
Well, you are so aware that the governor is working on building a state-of-the-art gallery.
Oh, well and good.
That is in the works. So I just want to...
Yes, very good. Once that one is done...
With collaboration with local and international partners.
Thank you very much.
And to even return some of our artifacts to be displayed in the museum.
So the government knows what to do in that area. So once the government can do that and throw a little bit of advert on it, there's a light on it, say, we have artifacts, you can come and see. People come every time.
And come from all over the world.
Every time from around the world. Before this coronavirus epidemic that took over the world right like this now, people come with their friends from abroad. And they get here, they turn around everywhere, they go to eat Mama Ibu pepper rice, they go here, they go there, they go and eat this one, they go to the other one, they see the moat. But nobody says museum. So if they remember, or somebody tells them about the museum, about the things that are inside there, they will generally go. And once one of your friends comes from abroad and sees it, say, I saw some great things there, you can go back to see. Tourism.
And that's a big way of generating revenue.
Yes, tourism.
Okay, I want you to look straight into the camera.
Yep.
Talk to the youth. These are your demographics. These are your people.
Tell
them the plans, the collaboration that your organization intend to have with the government that will bring more benefits and development to them. Tell them about it.
My great youths of Edo State, what I want to say to you today is remain who you are and who you are meant to be. Do the best to be the best you can in any area that you find yourself. Do not think that making money now is the only thing that you need to do. But instead, develop yourself. For us, I'd like to say to you, join us, Citizens of Edo State. Everyone is a member.
Are you on Facebook?
Yes. So when you join us, Citizens of Edo State, we gather together, we talk, and we see each other's issues, each other's problems, each other's advantages and disadvantages, and we work together. What I'm saying is that the youths of Edo State must come together, unite themselves in one front, and make sure that we are driven for a better future, not for individual gains of now that has been spoiling our state and our country from the beginning. When we are gathered together, many times some of you want to pass through the back and do this, but no. Let us come together,
to be focused.
Hold on to a particular point and make sure, when you look at what happened now, my people, what has happened now because of the SARS, NSAS protest. Believe me, they have heard whether what we're all asking for has been done now or not, but believe me, they have heard and something must be done. So let us remain focused in our well-doing. That's what I have to say.
On these notes, Mr. Aghedo Ogbewi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for coming to this program.
I appreciate it.
Coming for sharing your knowledge, your insight, your experiences with the people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. It has been a very engaging and interactive session with Mr. Aghedo Ogbewi, who is the president of Concerned Citizens of Edo State, and he is also a veteran entertainer in Edo State. He has talked to us what he intends to see in the next coming administration. He has highlighted them. He has moved from movies to music, to art, to the youth, to job creation, and what have you. And he has also said that they've worked with the governor before, and they are confident that they will work with him again to move the state forward. He has given applause to the government, that the government has touched virtually every area. But they believe, as concerned citizens, that he can do more, and they are ready to partner with him to ensure that this government that the people has brought to bear will truly and indeed become their own. Thank you very much for joining me wherever you are tuned in from. God bless you. See you again next time.